Okay, everybody, here we go. It is me, Gregory Mannarino, pre-market report on this Monday, August 14, 2023. I got a lot of stuff I want to talk to you and with you about. Let's start off with this here. You and I have been watching a phenomenon occur, increasing risk in this market that seems to be unrelenting as of late. And I believe, sincerely, if direct action is not taken by the Federal Reserve very, very soon, this whole thing could roll over and start a pretty significant sell-off in this market. I'm not saying a crash as of yet, but we have to keep things into perspective here. We have, again, risk that continues to rise in this market. And as you and I have outlined, it's not going anywhere, the market, with risk where it is. I mean, the MMRI this morning, 266.9. 266.9. 10-year yield rising, relative strength of the dollar higher. Clearly, again, if the illusion of the market is going to be maintained, and this is, it's just an illusion, okay? What am I talking about here? If people generally see, now the market's higher. People see the market's higher. They think everything is great, everything is fantastic, and the consumer is strong, and our economy is booming. Hold that thought, because I have some stuff I want to cover with regard to that. So the illusion of the market, in my opinion, still must be maintained for the general population so they can be, again, distracted, deceived. Look, this thing known as a market is not a market in any way, shape, or form. There's no price discovery mechanism here. It's all been propped up on easy money. You got collectively central banks around the world pumping the world with more debt than we've ever seen in the history of the world here, inflating a bubble in this debt market that is a monster on a grand scale. It's going to burst. It's going to lead to a resource issue that people are not going to believe. We are going to see a loss of life on a biblical scale because of that. That's a fact. But again, this is some other entity yet to be defined. We've never seen this before. Nothing like it at all. So with that, again, this morning, we must keep our eyes on risk. If you're in this market like me, okay, I'm not saying you need to sweat yet, but you gotta know how to manage your risk here. So we are going to keep on top of watching the 10-year yield, watching the relative dollar strength, just like the Fed does, and more specifically, the Mannarino market risk indicator. Again, we are at 266.9. It is 8:27 a.m. Eastern time. So that's what we're going to do. You got gold and silver under pressure this morning. You got cryptocurrencies under pressure this morning. You got crude oil. Okay, we watched. Do you realize that crude oil has gone up for about 7 weeks? I think it is 7 consecutive weeks we've watched crude go up, 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 up. No surprise. I mean, you and I have been covering this to the point of freaking nauseum here. Now we're getting a little bit of a pullback. Don't really want to call it anything meaningful yet. But again, this is something else we need to keep our eyes on. An asset goes up like this, we drop, we find a new floor, and bam. With regard to crude oil, I think it's going much higher. I think $90 a barrel in relatively short order is going to happen, and that means the cost of pretty much everything is going higher. So be prepared for that. Look, how do I say this to you? You got to be ready for what's coming down the pike, and they have things planned for us that I don't think most people are ready for, honestly. Now, with that, I want to cover a few things which have gone on as of late, and just to put a perspective on this with regard to, you and I understand, at least I hope so, what the game is. We have the creation of a neo-feudal system. People are being wiped out. They're being crushed. The consumer is under deliberate pressure by central banks who have been lying through their teeth about how they want to control inflation. This is an absolute lie because the central bank's power resides in only one thing, and that is their power and their ability to inflate, colluding with our so-called representatives. This is all a game, okay? And who's paying for it? Who always pays for this kind of thing. It's we the people, okay? We're getting destroyed. This is not a government of the people, by the people, for the people here in the United States, anywhere around the world, okay? This is a government run by central banks, and corrupt politicians, for the most part, are only looking out for their own self-interest. I don't care what you think is really going on, but that's a fact. Anyway, just to prove that to you, let's just cover a few things here. So, with regard to the pressure that is building, and we haven't seen anything yet on the consumer, you, me, and everybody else. This is what's going on. I'm not going to read through all this, but I want to touch on a few points here. So just think about this. After adjusting for inflation, taxes, household income in the United States has fallen 9.1% since April 2020. That's nearly 10%. That's a big hit. And again, with regard to inflation, you think we're done here? No, we're going to get much higher food prices. See, they try to convince you, that food prices, food inflation and energy inflation, these are temporary. It's going to go away. It's not true, okay? So this is why they strip this out of the numbers when they report these inflation numbers. Oh, no, we have to strip out food and energy because, you see, those prices are transitory. Remember that word? So this is an incredible thing to consider. It's unbelievable. 9.1% below where we were in 2020. It's unbelievable. Credit card debt surging out of control. You and I have covered this like beyond belief, and it's not done. We know what they're doing here. You remember what they did several months back? Offering people increases in their credit lines without even asking. They knew people were going to go out and swipe and borrow. So we have credit card debt, household debt, consumer debt, all out of control. The consumer today around the world is carrying a higher debt burden than they ever have. And this is not going to stop. This is not going to stop. It's going to get increasingly worse. Now, with regard to that, loan defaults are off the Richter scale. They're getting worse and worse and worse. We've never seen anything like this before. And just with regard to credit card swiping, the average rate of interest on a credit card balance is over 20%. Over 20%. Make it up. You can't make this up if you even tried to. It's an impossibility. I already mentioned delinquency rates. We haven't seen anything like this in decades. What's going on here with debt delinquencies? And this is another one we touched on last week, but I want to talk about this a little further. People today are taking what's called an emergency withdrawal from their 401k plans. People can't make ends meet in this environment. So what are they doing? They're tapping. Not only are they melting themselves down, literally, with regard to credit card debt and personal debt and every other kind of debt they can take on, now they're taking out loans or emergency withdrawals against their 401k plans. Just since the last quarter, we've watched this rise 36%. 36%. Do you think this is going to stop? What does this tell you? I mean, look, you got the freak show over there and brain dead presidents and, telling us how great we're doing, how we're booming. Does this sound like a booming economy to you? Does this sound like a strong consumer to you? It's unfreaking believable. The prices of homes here, we started to see them pull back. Now we're going right back up. Rent is skyrocketing out of control. You can't make any of this stuff up. But this is exactly what you and I have expected to happen since like freaking forever here. Now, this is another number. If you recall, just a few weeks ago, we found out that it was 61% of working American families living from paycheck to paycheck. That number has now jumped just in the past few weeks to 69%. 69%. Think about what I'm talking about, people. 69% of working American families are living paycheck to paycheck. One paycheck they miss, they're homeless. Or they have some of the bigger financial issue. There's so much more stuff here, but I'm not going to cover it all because this video is going to be too damn long. But what I want you to understand is every single thing, and I'm not lying, every single thing that you and I have been discussing, we've been talking about, would happen from a long time ago, is happening right now. And I'm here to tell you, I'm here to give you some bad news. I'm being honest with you. Everything that we just covered right now in this video, this is going to get worse for the people of the world because it's the design of the system. It's the agenda here of the central banks who are the government. If you think there's anything else going on besides that, then you are absolutely disconnected from reality. This is the way. This has been a plan that has been put in effect over a century ago. Central banks' goal, central banks collectively, this is why these institutions have been put in place here. Their goal was eventually to become the lenders and buyers of last resort, to own the world. They have one product, the debt. They issue it to the world. They are sovereign entities. They answer to no higher power. They even think they're probably above God, okay? And yes, there's going to be a terrible price to pay for that, but we're paying the price right now. You understand? And this is all going to get much, much worse moving forward as central banks fulfill their destiny. There's nothing to stop other than divine intervention, okay? Nothing to stop central banks from fulfilling their goal here, to own it all, to own the world, okay? They can already control the economy. They control the financial system. They control the financial markets. They control the flow of information, people. Man, I'm telling you, I really hope you're understanding what's happening here. So again, just real quick touching on this market, doesn't look good, okay? Stock futures are higher as I am doing this. This can change. Trading doesn't start for about an hour. But it looks to me like risk in this market is dangerously high, okay? And not only on top of the suffering that people are going under right now, the consumer, like I explained to you, the average guy, the average girl, 69% can't make ends meet. Living paycheck to paycheck here, can't make it up, and it's just ain't gonna get better. But look, you and I, we're gonna get through it anyway. I hope you're not part of that 69% here, because we got each other's backs. We're looking out for each other. We're staying ahead of the curve. We're not being distracted by the mainstream propaganda, because we know what's going on. We've known what's been going on here for over a freaking decade. Those of you who have been with me, some of you have been with me since day one. All right, people, look, I'm going to let you all go. I want to hear from you. Please share this video. I mean, I think this was a really important one. We covered so many important things. We got to wake people up. Honestly, people have no idea what's going on. None. Zero. Maybe they believe the propaganda ministry, how everything's great and fantastic and we're going to be in some utopian society. Are you kidding me? This is, again, how the few have controlled the many since forever. By the lies, the deceptions, the distractions, the look here, all the stuff that you and I have discussed that you need to look out for. Raise your awareness, people. Understand what's going on and why it's happening. And understand, again, there ain't no escaping this. I'm sorry. But you need to take action. Bet against the debt. Become your own central bank. Stop borrowing, okay? That's the trap door they have set under you. They want you to be a slave to the system. You and I have covered this too for how freaking long. They want to create more slaves to the system, dependency on the current system as they issue in a new one. You know that, people. We are in the early stages of a whole new system, a new set of rules, a new paradigm, a new dynamic. Okay, and it's changing very rapidly. That's all I have to say. All right, I'm going to end this video before I have a freaking meltdown myself, all right? Love you a lot. Please share the video. Please comment. If you got something out of this video, people, I can't tell you how important those thumbs up are. You do that, the algorithms pick up the video, they share it, and they let people see this stuff. Also, make sure you subscribe to this video. There's many people that watch this video are not subscribed. Please help me grow this channel, because this isn't just Greg's thing, this is our thing. And I really believe that we're a worldwide family, and it's become kind of our responsibility as those of us who have an understanding of what's going on to raise the awareness of others, and this is where you come in, okay? And I hope you do that. All right, love you a lot. I will see you later. Please have some questions for me later. Live stream 4:05 p.m. Eastern time. I'll see you then.